This character, Rhaenyra Targaryen, finally showed that good writing still exists in television. There's still good writing to be seen in general in the Game of Thrones universe, especially after that ludicrous first episode where I completely trashed it on this channel. It finally is showing some signs of life. It's actually looking watchable at this point. It looks like it's headed into a good direction, but what's going to happen with this character? I've never read the books, so I have no idea. Is she going to go completely batshit insane, like in the original Game of Thrones series with Dany just burning up the whole city? It looks like it's headed that way, but that might be just an oversimplification. I hope they don't do that, because it's just a little bit predictable now. The Targaryens, they're so crazy, they're insane. They have a bunch of these messed up inner family rituals that they do, and it's just gonna be a little bit too predictable, you know. It's gonna be something where it's something that goes over and over and over again. It's like generational trauma. Yeah, we get it. It's that, but it doesn't seem to be headed that way. I predict that Vhagar, the dragon, is gonna come back and completely wreck her shit. That's another place where the story could go. But there are like 7 episodes left, I think. So it's very, like, it could end up very different from what I predict. But she's either gonna go crazy or get off the throne. That's probably what's gonna happen. I don't think she's gonna reign for very long. That's just what I can see, because what is good writing in this? Why am I saying that it looks like good writing? It's because when you have shows like The Boys that I've covered on this channel immensely to no end, and you have like characters like Starlight and all these goody two shoes characters that are like, the producers decide that they are the hero. That's the hero. They save the day with the power of friendship, yada yada yada. And you know, what about the problems with those characters? Is it as easy as that in real life? No, it's not. Heck no. You never see characters in real life, like people in general, who try to do their best. They always go through certain challenges and issues and problems. It's never just as easy as you claiming victory and that's it. No problems anymore. You did your best. You were just good by virtue of being virtuous. You saved the day. Like, that never happens ever. And it's always a cliche, or there's some political agenda there. That's what these shows are mainly used for. But this show, even though they removed the ambiguity, that's one problem with this show, by the way. They made her too good. I don't think she was as good in the books. Again, I never read them, but I think she did some pretty heinous things in there. Think about it. They were talking about murdering a child in this episode. It's episode 3. She was going to do that, and it's off screen, so we don't see what happens to Daemon Targaryen or the person claiming to be them. There's some despicable things that she probably would do off screen or in the books, but here she looks very good. Okay, she's very good. She's trying to do her best, and she just comes into so many problems. What happens when a hero tries to be a hero and it just doesn't work? What about the cows? You know, the villagers' cows, the sheep. She even gets a castle that's completely infested with rats. That's what she has to work with. They've given her a castle filled with rats. It's almost like a sewage that's been blocked up, and she's inheriting a throne of garbage. Basically, it's so insane to look at, and I really have to appreciate how the writing portrays these problems in a way that really resonates you, because the hero always comes into problems. And what this series and what George R. Martin has really portrayed is that if you're a good king, like a good person, that doesn't mean you're a good king necessarily. It does not mean that. A good king as a good person can actually be a pretty bad king in hindsight. They can make a lot of mistakes. And this is shown so well here, because she just gets sick at some point in the scene. She's bleeding, and just suddenly it happens, and then she has to deal with all these people and their problems, and yeah, it just doesn't work, and it's just constant barrage of problems. First of all, like, what is the deal with this in the Game of Thrones universe? Maybe someone in the comments can tell me what that is. What's up with that? Where a king just sits on the throne, all these people, all these small folk gather from all the villages, from the entire world basically, or the entire continent, or like close to King's Landing. They go there and they start barraging this king or queen, mostly king, with their problems. There's non-stop problems, and the person isn't even prepared to deal with any of that. It's like an exam that you don't have the answers for. How am I supposed to know how much whatever your windmill needs, like how much water your cows, how they have to be fed? No one will be able to know that. And I just find it so odd and weird how the king is always surrounded by a council or advisors. Suddenly, though, they have an annual or monthly thing where they have to be examined and answer questions that they were never prepared ever to know the answer to. If someone read the book, or someone can tell me what historical tradition this is based on, I think it's very Viking. It seems Viking in the way it is. Like the person on the throne, they're just sitting there, and there's people coming to them. But in that context, it was more like asking for gifts or certain favors and stuff like that. It was never the person demanding something. And here they're really demanding it because the people are tired. They're poor, they're hungry. There's been the civil war, so much unrest, and the actress, man, the actress and the actors in general, they really sell this. This is so much different from the first episode that was just so rushed. Here there was good dialogue. It was all presented in a very good way. I really like the lighting of it. It's such a sharp contrast from the first season of the show where it was all peace, there was good food, it was very nice, it was light everywhere, it was very picturesque. Here it's starting to look very miserable. It looks a lot more like Game of Thrones. It's just like a dark room, and there's so many problems that the characters just create for themselves because that's just how power works, and that's just the way that ruling a kingdom works. You come onto a throne and everyone's expecting things of you, and everyone's just microscopically looking at what you're wearing, the way you present yourself. They're all just looking to completely remove you from your position of power. And that's, I think, what the show does best. It's not trying to be comedic or funny or lighthearted anymore. It's just very good political, brutal politics. Because if she didn't have those dragons right there, those people are probably just wipe her out. The people that she's dining with, you really get a sense of they were just completely, they will not let her live. And that's very, very nicely presented here. It's very sharp. It's very smart. It's like an intelligent episode, and it's very interesting to consider what's going to happen next. Is she going to survive? Probably not for very long. And I feel the show is kind of coming to an end, probably because it was based on a short story. I think there doesn't feel like there's going to be that much story left. All the characters are dying. Man, the death of Otto Hightower was very impressive. And it really shows how when you're a king and you do certain decisions, no matter what you do, it's going to be wrong. And she this dude, she kills him, and then it's like the dude that you could have used him, you could have asked him some questions, but now he's not there anymore. Even more problems, right? Even more wars, more problems. And there's like another interesting element to her, that she's basically her dad in certain contexts. I think that's another part of intelligent, smart writing, because what did her father do? Viserys, every time there was a problem, he would go and eat, or he would isolate himself in his own world. What does she do when there's problems and she is burning up from the problems in her head? She organizes a feast or a banquet, or she tries to elect someone a knight, or then when someone actually wants to get a certain favor or position from her, she just does the complete opposite and she says no, and then she makes an enemy. It's just all around good writing, good television, and yeah, I was entertained watching this. It was good, and it's gonna be interesting to see what comes next. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought about this, and is this a realistic portrayal? How come the king gets or queen gets examined by? It's literally like they're taking a calculus test or something like that. How does that make sense? It probably does. It's very well presented, but it makes me wonder how that works. Who thought that was a good idea, right? Anyways, thanks for watching, and yeah, bye.